for the people that I know that have had, whether it be lip fillers, implants or anything like that, as you said, it's about them, whether it be their self-esteem, their self-confidence. Some of it's been, you could say, partially encouraged by whether it be society or their peers or people they've come into contact with, where people have made comments, and over the years it's not necessarily for them, they've not even seen it as it's grated on them like that, but I suppose over time you naturally realise how much you hold on to when you compare yourself to other people, or just within themselves. They would say, most of them have said, it's literally just to make themselves feel better or to feel more. For those that have had breast implants, it's that feeling of being more womanly. That was a common thing, to feel like they've got that for themselves, a more desirable figure.
If they didn't have a comparison, would they know what the ideal was in their mind?
I think nearly all of us have an ideal based on the fact that everything's a comparison.
Yeah.
Because if we had nothing to compare to and no one did that's better, everyone is just everyone, I don't think any of us would be worried about it, or at least not to the extent we are.
I think we said it before, innit? Like, comparison is not necessarily a bad thing. It's how you're comparing. It's like, oh, she looks better than me, so I need to do what she's done.
Everyone's got different reasons, isn't it? Like, some people, if this conversation is about people that are shallow-minded, and it's just based off of just literally aesthetics, whether it's you want to be an influencer or etc. But other people, they've got deep-rooted issues when it comes to that. It could be a mother that's had 4 or 5 children, maybe even 1, and her body's just never gone back to the same. And she's young, and she's got 30, 40, how many ever years she's had her child young, and her stomach or her breasts have sagged because of breastfeeding. Like, to me, I feel like those are bigger issues than I just don't like my lips, let me go get a lip filler, or my breasts are small. I'm not, and I don't mean to compare people's circumstances. I'm just saying I feel like it's a deeper insecurity when, I don't know if it's a mother, or maybe you've had surgery and you need to correct something, or do you know what I mean? Those are more, everyone's, it's different circumstances.
I agree with you fully. I'll be honest, like, I can resonate with that.
Okay.
Because for me, like, for anyone that knows me, obviously I've had my children, and a lot of people comment, oh, but T, your snapback game, yeah, my snapback was the first one.
Yeah,
cool.
Okay, yeah.
But I have had it where my bust size has gone down with each child. So for me, knowing what I was when I was younger to what I am now, I'm like, so people might say, yeah, but you still look good for having these. It's not about what you think I look like. For me, it's how I feel within it.
Of course.
So there might be certain things I like, whether it be clothing that I would have worn before, that I wouldn't wear now, just because I don't feel comfortable. Whether people tell me I look nice in it or not, I within myself don't feel comfortable. So I have questioned, and I know you asked me this question before, I've questioned at one point, I did feel like my self-esteem in that department dropped low enough for me to question, would I go for implants? And I really thought about it, and I thought, and then the realization hit me. It was like, no, because you know what? If I was meant to be that way, I would be. And even then, what if I do it and then I'm not happy again? Still not happy. Or if I'm not happy about something else, it's not even would it lead me to get more surgery done, but it's just like, if I get there and I'm not happy, what do I do? Do I remove it and not be happy? Do I up a size? Do I keep changing it? So the point is, I have to build the happiness from within me. And I'm not saying that everybody else can just do that, but I realise for me that's what I have to do.
Yeah, and some people might do it once and feel like, I think it becomes a problem when you feel like you consistently need it. Some of these things are like with the lip stuff, I'm sure you have to get it topped up every
couple of weeks or months.
I think for me, the only thing for me is you do what you want with your body, fair enough, like that's your choice. Just the only thing for me that I worry about is that, do you actually know what you're putting in your body and how that's going to affect your body? And we've seen so many cases of where it goes wrong, and the toxins so your blood is mixing with that stuff.
To add on to that, Jay, also just the programming as well. And what I mean is like, when someone says to someone, whatever makes you happy, I feel like, oh, okay, so what if they're never happy? Do they continue to keep doing it rather than, because obviously we know happiness is something that you create from within. No one can give you that. But then there are people that say whatever makes you happy. And if you think about it, that's like, don't stop until you're happy. Because what if you never find happy? How misleading is that?
But by the
How
time
far
they've
did you
even
go?
got that far, that's when people then become critical with judgments as well then.
Right.
Because it's like, you've done
too
all of
much.
this, you've done that. But then you've said, whatever makes me
you
happy.
Right.
So it's contradictory.
Right.
Because everyone's not saying whatever makes you happy within reason.
So maybe the phrase is about, how do you make you happy in now? Because, you know, realistically, when you see a lot of people, what our society has got conditioned in is that happiness is something that takes a while, you've got to work at it and all this stuff. We know it's hard to maintain the happiness like consistently over time, but to access it, it's like that. You can go, Bomba Kid! You start smiling and then all of a sudden you access happiness. But it's that pursuit of having that long term. No one can be, let's be real, no one can be fully happy in the world we're in right now. There's no possibility of you being fully happy. You can be content. That's a different to happiness, because that takes a lot of energy as well. So it's maybe them knowing like, okay, how do I access happiness within myself without tuning into the conditions of what we've been given to understand what happiness is?
So, T, let me ask you.
Go on.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you, T. So what is it that stops you from kind of like looking outside of yourself and saying, yo, you know what? I'm happy with me. This is enough. I am enough. Because obviously many people don't get there. So what was it that?
There was a few things, if I'm honest. Let me I'm gonna go through the quicker things first. I'm gonna be real. I'm not trying to spend grands on my body like that.
So not
for one thing, if you know what I mean. Because again, it's the look. My thing was, how could I really sit here and think about doing that when everything else about me is natural? Like, okay, say for example, now I've got braids in. This is the second time I've ever had box braids at the age that I'm at, and there's nothing against me having it. But I mean, if it's little things as I don't personally wear weave, or I don't do a lot of other things aesthetically, why would I do something that's near enough unless I choose to take it out that's quite permanent in that sense? So for me it was like, I'm taking a semi-permanent outside object to make me feel better internally. Don't make sense. Then I looked at my children. Every time that they're unhappy with something, does that mean that they should be going outwards to look for that? I can't be saying to them, oh, love yourself, love you, accept your flaws, or what you condemn as something you're not so happy with, but yet I'm showing you the complete opposite. And we know that words only go so far, innit? Children follow actions as well as words. So I can't be like, as parents, I'll be honest, we're probably one of the biggest hypocrites going there, but that's also through learned experiences. But for me, I couldn't be teaching you one thing, but be doing the opposite of what I'm teaching. And then I just figured, as I said, what if I do it and I'm not happy? What if I don't like the way it looks? What do I do then? Do I spend more money taking it out, or do I just live with it? And if I just live with it and I'm not happy, why can't I just live with myself now? Like, there's still, like you said, there's still days when I think, but I can make joke of it. Do you know what I mean? Or now my thing is, okay, well, I may not like that, or that may not fit a certain way, but then I'll wear something that does fit a certain way and makes me feel comfortable.
Okay. Go on, what's the thing?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I think with the smaller stuff, like maybe lip fillers and Botox, I think you can just go into like a cosmetic place, but I think when you're making larger changes, I think you have to go through a process. So you have to have consultations and make sure, like if you're going to do a gastric bypass, so you could lose weight and stuff, so they're adding something inside your body to make you smaller. I think you have to go to a consultation to see that your mind is in the right place to why you're getting this stuff, because that one change can lead to more changes and maybe body dysmorphia. So I know with like bigger stuff like that, but obviously like BBLs and stuff, they've become more of a big thing, but a lot of people are actually leaving the UK to go and get these things done. And talking of like the happiness part, I'm not necessarily, how do I put it, my body's gone through a lot of changes due to my health and medication, and I guess I've sat down sometimes and been like, oh, I want to change that, but going off of like what you just asked T, I think what stops me is that I've gone through so many operations, and even in those moments of having necessary operations, you're in between that space of you hope you wake up out of the operation. So that's what fully stops me from doing any form of stuff, because no one's to say that you're going to come back from that. Like no one's to say you're going to wake up from this operation.
It's life and death, really.
It's not literally.
So
And not all have. That's
and
the
not
thing.
all have.
And we don't have that now.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So that's my first thing, and I don't know if it's about necessarily off of Jay's point now about happiness. I think it's about acceptance. Acceptance for, you know, be proud of your body for the things it's gone through, and you're still here, and you've got a body. Do you know what I mean? And you can still experience life. And I think it's about seeing yourself as a whole individual, because the world we live in, it is about comparing, and you're not better than this person and you're not better than, and it's just like, well, there's only one of you anyway, so I'm going to accept this little cellulite hair, I'm going to accept this little jiggle hair, and whoever doesn't like it, that's not my problem, that's your problem. I'm proud of what I've gone through and still come out and look this well. Like, it's especially, and I feel bad for, like, especially for women as well, because the world is, a lot of it is aimed at us cosmetically more so than men, even though I know men are going out now and doing odd little bits.
You lot spend a lot more on
the market is aimed at us, and I do definitely feel sorry for mothers, because you lot bring life, and that alone is a life and death situation. And for like society to aim it at women and what our bodies go through, I just think I think it's foul. I think it's out of order. So I don't know if it's necessarily about finding happiness, but I do think it's about finding acceptance and wholeness within yourself. Like, do you know what I mean? I definitely feel it's about that, and being grateful and thankful for your experiences. Do you know what I mean? That's where I'm at with it. Oh.
No, listen.
Who's
got a gun? No.
But before you jump on changing,
go on.
can I just say the other thing that Rush brought up that I think is important is we've got people that do things for the sake of, not, I don't want to say for the sake of vanity, but for themselves. Yeah. Whether it be minor cosmetics or major. But then you've also got a lot of those that are overlooked or overshone when it is more medical.
Yeah.
So it could even be things like breast transplants, but someone might be doing it because they've had cancer treatment and they've lost it. And then you might have those that, and the thing is, remember, there's so many cancers out there that we don't even know of, or it could lead to the effects of another part of your body, even though it wasn't of that area, it could impact your body as a whole, innit? So we can have people that are deteriorating, so when they're doing it, because they're not putting it out there, because they might feel uncomfortable, so it's kept to themselves, but you might notice. So then people comment, oh, I wonder why they done this, I wonder, but we're not thinking more, it's actually more of a health reason behind that.
What you're saying is
as opposed to just cosmetic.
What you're saying is so real, because you was saying that in regards to hair, you not knowing a reason why someone's done something to their hair, it could be tied down to health.
So I think sometimes we rather than judging, it's about ask. If you want to know, you ask, but then also we have to accept no one's obliged to answer you. That's the other thing. So even though we might ask the questions to understand the reasons, if someone doesn't want to share it, they don't have to. Do you know what I mean? Because some people just might not be comfortable sharing their stories, or even if it is a bit more cosmetic, it could still be a mental thing, because if that person's gone through something, and it may be a trauma, it could be something that they were teased about from a young age. Now, they might have been content if they weren't teased, they might have accepted it, but that hasn't been their life. So now, you know what, now I'm at a stage where I can do something about it, and I'm not going to be teased, I'm not going to be beating myself up about it no more, then I'm going to change it.